What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about, are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone.
So yesterday, as of this recording, I was watching this live when it happened. I'm sorry, but I've been a little under the weather, so it's been a little bit more difficult for me to cover some of these segments. I'll try and do what I can as I get over it, but I have a killer headache at the moment, and it's not very fun. But you know what I thought was going to cure me of this headache? Watching some Tim Pool. And even better than that, Tim Pool with Ye, also known as Kanye West, Milo Yiannopoulos, as Laura Loomer calls a sociopathic, vindictive gay, and the hidden gay, Nick Fuentes, all together because Tim Pool hyped this up as one of his biggest interviews of his career. 95,000 people at its peak watching Kanye West and Kanye on Tim's podcast. It is incredibly wild. And Kanye could barely handle a singular question, but I want to show you a little bit of this and then we'll talk about it a little bit. It is truly remarkable, I must say. So Tim starts this off. What he wanted to do was talk about the big thing that's been in the news cycle recently, which is the dinner that Ye had with Trump, where he brought his new boyfriend, Nick Fuentes, without Trump's knowledge whatsoever, as we are being, as we are to believe, as they have told us so far. And we'll just see how this goes really quick.
All right, and I'll just pull up this story from The Hill, which is from earlier today, 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of course, is related to a dinner that happened, and I was wrong a little on the details. So a dinner happened. Nick, you were there. Ye, you were there. I just want to start off by, how did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
I was talking to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November. And I've been pulling together a campaign. And after I put up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that have been canceled, like Alex Jones, I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones.
You thought I was joking? You thought I was joking when I said that he's been trying to pick up some Sneeko language? This is honestly probably one of the worst timelines that we've ever existed in. But here, listen, we'll continue on to see how it goes.
Jones' producer said that Milo wanted to contact me, and here we are.
So that's how you guys got in contact?
Yeah, originally, and then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous extra brain firepower that he is. Most extraordinarily brilliant political commentator of his generation, and he's been treated just about as badly as anybody. So I thought he deserved to be in the room too. And yeah, that's pretty much how we got together.
Incredibly interesting. So we'll talk a little bit about this dynamic in a little bit, but we have Kanye, black person, Milo, gay person, and Nick, who hates both of them. I'm not necessarily sure equally. When it comes to Nick, he's a little hard to pin down. He's a little wishy-washy sometimes, especially when it comes to wanting to hide his power level a little bit. On his show, he typically just says whatever he wants. Mostly, not all the time. So, but we can't just troll through his entire backlog at the moment. And I'm not even sure if his website even holds a lot of VODs for that long. I haven't been on there for that long, but I know Nick hates both of them a lot. A lot. He's just here for clout, which is very funny. And Milo's here for another reason, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
So I have some questions about that, but we'll get through the dinner portion of, how exactly this happened, what went down. So this is how you get in contact, the three of you. How is it that Nick ends up invited to this dinner, and what happened?
Well, he was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. And we had Karen Giorno pick us up from the airport. And there was a lot of back and forth. There's another gentleman named Jamar Montgomery that was with us. He's an engineer at Boeing, and who's it? I'm telling him we should raise everyone's volume. Okay, cool. And we sat there, and it was like when Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole, I just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening.
Okay, so just so you know, they actually had a talk about this before they went live. Tim didn't want to get into the anti-Semitism thing yet. It's been 5 minutes. It's been less than 6 minutes into this podcast, and he's already bringing up the anti-Semitism thing completely unprompted, just out of nowhere, and now he's gonna dive all like head first.
This is something, if you read the definition, it says you can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish, or you're anti-Semitic. And
I really don't believe that's a part of the definition. I have no clue where he looked up that definition. And like, the definition of anti-Semitism. When you say Jewish people and banks in the same sentence, you anti-Semitic. Like, that's not what that word means.
And that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
probably heard it from Nick, honestly.
I'm saying, like, I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So there's different beliefs about our bloodlines, you know, like the documentary that Kyrie posted. And in general, America has been left ignorant and history has been changed. So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you know, you said debanked, or what did you say happened to you? Or
demonetized, deplatformed.
Demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening. And now we can really understand. We can see that Ron Emanuel was right next to Obama, and then Jared Kushner was right next to Trump.
But so you...
What the Okay, so basically now he's saying that all of these big names are being controlled by these Jewish people, even though Jared Kushner is simply Donald Trump's son-in-law. He's literally family. He's actually literally I mean, he can't get rid of Jared Kushner unless he kills him or something, I guess. I'm not sure if Kanye supports that, but yeah, he would have to kill him to really get rid of him. And Rahm Emanuel has been a part of the Democratic Party since like before I've been alive, if I remember correctly. It's just okay. But anyways, Kanye then decides to speak for basically an incredibly long time. He just kind of rambles on for a little bit. But I want to hop back to this back and forth a little bit between him and Poole. So we're just going to skip some of the rambling because my boy loves to ramble. So so we're skipping from basically like 8 minutes to 15 minutes here.
Right? And I refuse to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, oh, woe he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears you. I mean, look.
They would have Michael Jackson,
or worse, yeah.
So
look what they did. Look what they did to Britney. When she went in, she was tired, she was exhausted, she was in a bad way. But 10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now. You can see there's not much of her left.
You mentioned Pasternak was the name.
Yes, Harley Pasternak. That's the text message.
Yes, the anti-medication. Medications are so evil and cringe. Instead of taking medication, have you ever thought about like drinking water and eating a lemon? That'll cure you. That'll cure you right up. I'm sorry, like a lot of these types of people, they're just kind of like just overcome your mental illness with willpower. Look at how Kanye West is doing, okay? He's lost his family. He's lost his business. He went from clubbing with Jay-Z and Pharrell Williams to getting hibachi at a suburban strip mall with Nick Fuentes, okay? This is how this guy's life has gone off of medication, all right? Does this look like the come up to you? Is this like peak W to you? His life is, he lost his business. His family doesn't talk to him. His ex-wife doesn't want anything to do with him. This kid who he's hanging out with just basically spends all of his time on his phone. He had to get like a new son, and this one's white and really racist. It's just like, you can't tell me that this guy's life is like on the come up. After meds, it seems to be on the come down.
That you posted that we were talking about before.
That's the lobotomy.
Yeah. Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up, and they're like, "You shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic. They're white supremacists. They're racist." I find the idea. I do find it funny or weird, or whatever. That Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working with or for one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous.
My boy is slumped. Okay. Hey, listen, Nick. You can't be racist. Look, there's a black guy who's way more rich and way more famous than you that you're hanging out with. I mean, you couldn't be racist.
wealthiest and most famous, but a lot of people were saying on the right specifically, don't platform them. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're part of they're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week, and we have an opportunity to sit down and talk
because the red media controls both sides. They just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump.
Lord.
Ron Emanuel was next to Obama. But since 1940, go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't that an issue of these individuals? Like you're extrapolating. I'm
going to order with the last of my money that's available in a different account. I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman setup conversation. When I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion. But I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people. Those are bots that are trying to tell you. We realize, look at Pence. He's so Trump out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurt me. He lied about me, but I mean, he's known for lying. And when people used to tell me that, he's a liar, it's like, I went into the trenches for Trump. That's another conversation. There was no one in my position that wore that hat, and all of my surroundings exhausted me. It was like death by 1,000 questions. I know I'm jumping to another thing, but what I'm saying is, I know you got a rep for your people online, but it's you got a person in real life that I'm not with it, bro. I lost the money for the freedom of speech, and that's what makes me the only American that we know that really deserves to run the country. Because
I'm sorry, I cut him off by laughing. I have to let him continue speaking.
Everyone else, your boy DeSantis, Trump, whoever they raise in a petri dish over on the Democrat side is going to play the game.
Look, here's what
I lost my business by being anti-Semitic. That's why I'm the only person in America qualified to run the country. DeSantis, Trump, Biden, they're going to play into the Jews' hands, the red media. I won't do it. And this is why you must elect me. It's just... It's just from bro, does this guy have any policy? Have you heard this guy talk about policy at all besides stop the Jews? Is there anything of more substance there besides stop Jews? Is there a singular thing in there besides that? I mean, if you think that he's going to explain anything here, you're wrong. He's already incredibly agitated from a simple question of just asking, of just prodding him a little bit about his political philosophy. He crumples like a bitch, and then we'll just see what happens from here.
I was trying to get to. You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it. But I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion I had. Like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic for me to say his name out loud? I told the minister. Yeah, the minister. I told
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was. Yeah, I mean, the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister.
Allowed? Holy crap! This guy's gone f***ing nutty. This guy's gone nutty, bro. The Jews did not allow me to do what I wanted. I don't know. I honestly, most of the people who are making these decisions about banning him or not banning him, it's simply just content moderation. I'm sorry, his ban, these things, they don't go through they don't go through the Jewish council to get these things done. Here, Kanye's suffering through two things that we talk about here on this stream. It's one, which is you wanting to feel like you're privy to knowledge that other people are not, or they're not willing to talk about. And so because of that, you filter everything that you experience through the lens of what I'm doing is right and what I'm doing is so good. And the reason why they don't want to talk to me, the reason why they don't like me, is not simply because they disagree or they have information to tell them something differently. It is simply because they are wrong and being controlled, and everything that you say is because you're scared and I'm not, and so that's why I'm better than you. Honestly, it's a really cringe superiority complex based on you just being stupid.
So Farrakhan said, well, did he have the money? The contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. What I was fighting for was the IP, so my children could I'm sorry, just sometimes I think about 7 thoughts at one time, because anything I see, I come up with 7 answers to it and then just choose what it is. But the thing is, when I said my children, the reason why my brain kind of blocked, because it's God is saying, your children are going to be okay. Baby mama's got money, right? God is using me. He's breaking me down removing all of the, richest person, all of this, so I can serve him. And the more and more those things are taken away from me, the more I can be empty and be a vessel and be able to be used. And right now it's like, you're not going to take.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to completely agree with him here. I'm going to agree with him 100% here, that he is being stripped of all of his like earthly possessions, his family, his business, all of these things, but they're not being stripped from him by the Jews. They're being stripped from him by himself. And he is a vessel. He is being used, but it's not going to be God who's using him. The hand that's going to be up his ass and puppeting him are the two people and the other people in this room who are using him for clout, fame, and for, in some cases, revenge. He is being used 100%, but it's not by God. You are not God's strongest soldier. You are God's dumbest boy. Okay, this is one thing that I feel a lot of like guys like Kanye West need to understand, is that you are not God's strongest soldier. You are God's dumbest boy, and you need to fix yourself. Okay, because you are in no state to be a vessel for the Lord. You are a cracked, leaky container that cannot hold any liquid whatsoever. And I would honestly hazard to put a solid in there either, because it may dry out. Yeah, you're God's goofiest goober. All right, you're not God's strongest soldier. You're God's goofiest goober. All right, you're not God's sword and shield. You are Boo Boo the Fool's the clown. Boo Boo's the Fool's red nose and big floppy shoes. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just true.
If we can't, you're not going to take my pain away, right? The Jewish people say it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what, because every time I'm just holding stride, and it's like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK, because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press, and financially, I'm just standing there. And when I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost, but I still walked.
Yeah, this guy is completely fucking unhinged. This guy is completely unhinged. It's completely over. This is why I say you should never trust rich black people. Okay, for my other based and Negro pilled viewers and followers and everything, all of you people who support the channel, my Negro pilled people, never trust any rich black person ever. If I become a black person, if I become a rich black person, do not trust me. Okay, I'll have other interests besides protecting you. Okay, I'll have other interests besides that. You need to understand. All right, when it comes to these types of people, remember when was it Jay-Z? Was it Jay-Z who said being called a capitalist is like being called the N-word? And now Kanye West is saying, when I was anti-Semitic and then people didn't want to work with me, it's basically just like when black people had dogs maul their flesh by racist white cops because nobody wants to do business with me anymore because I make their brand sad.
And stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who is they though? We can't say they is.
Corporate press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking.
It is
about
them though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then think we're not going to have a conversation?
Like have the discussion.
Like you think he's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider, so I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Go, make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation.
So that's basically it. Just so you know, the rest of this 2-hour long thing is basically them just complaining about what happened and Tim Pool being really upset that he spent time on getting this set up and he was so hyped and then Kanye just got up and left. I'm not going to lie to you, from my perspective as just a stinky lefty, I think this is the best thing that could have possibly happened, which is everybody gets their time wasted, everybody looks bad, and nobody gets all the clout that they really wanted. So I think it's pretty sick. if I'm going to be completely honest with you. It is pretty funny. My man Kanye just gets stomps out of the room. And it's not because you're going to see a lot of conservatives get really mad about what's happening here, about like the red pill and everything that Kanye and all the crew were dropping. And they're going to like clown on Tim Pool for like cutting off Kanye. Did Kanye seem cut off there? Did Kanye seem cut off there? No matter what, they're still holding an interview. He's still asking. This is the first time Kanye has ever been in the presence of somebody who is not exactly, almost completely lockstep on board and will just let him ramble for as long as he wants. Like anything closing in on a structured interview, he just completely falls apart. This guy is unhinged. He can't handle Tim Pool pushback. Think about this for a moment, okay? Put this in perspective. This man can't handle Tim Pool pushback. Tim Pool. The only thing that would be more embarrassing than this would be like not being able to handle Joe Rogan pushback, okay? Especially if you're like right of center. Right? The idea of you being able to go on and get so kerfuzzled that you have to walk out of like a Tim Pool or a Joe Rogan podcast is like genuinely remarkable. That's genuinely hilarious to me, because these are some of the most like softball-y sort of like interviews on. These are some of the biggest and most softball-y interviews for conservatives on the planet, if I'm going to be honest with you. The only way that you can get a more softball-y interview is if he went specifically onto like Fox News or something and did like a sit down directly with like Tucker Carlson. Right, that's the only possible way that this could get better for him. Do you think that he can handle a debate stage with other people? You can't just stomp out in your Balenciaga boots in during a debate stage. Nobody's going to listen to you. You're not going to win. Oh, okay. You're not God's strongest soldier. You're God's biggest bitch baby. This man is like 50 years old and he can't handle something as simple as this. It's remarkable to me. It's genuinely sad. And you know what's even more sad than this is, and I'm not sure necessarily who's here. It may be Fuentes fans. It may be just straight up Kanye fans. It may just be simply giga anti-Semites who are here. But I tell you what, I would like to show you a little bit of this comment section here of my boy Tim getting absolutely bodied in the comment section. They hate this man. I can't believe I'm gonna say it, but for this episode, Tim really should have just let Ian take the lead. I'll never forget when Ian brought up the Balfour. One more. I don't want to read that one. We're getting right into it, I guess. I wanted to talk about the news. Tim was literally that was literally the headline of the news story you put up for discussion. You don't have Kanye on to be part of your show. He is the episode. Tim literally said, you will appeal to the common man. So would you do well with the black vote? Jay wanted to walk out then and should have. The fact that he stayed for that long shows he tried. So true. So true. Kanye was at his wit's end. So true. That disgusting, horrible, offensive, bullying Tim Pool. Absolutely. He didn't deserve Kanye. Kanye's too good for this. The amount of hours I've listened to Tim, he just needs interviews. Sorry. He just needs to interview more than talk. He wasn't even talking that much. The most of this, if you see this here, if you can even see this here, like most of this, like in here is Kanye West talking. Like the camera's on Kanye like 90% of the time. He's just talking 90% of the time, bro. It's just ridiculous to me to sit here and tell me that like he wasn't able to speak. He talked for the vast majority of what was happening here, but this is hilarious. It's very funny. It's almost a 50-50 like to dislike, but more likes than dislikes at the end of the day. It's still quite remarkable that there are this 32,000 dislikes. That's pretty gnarly. So if you think that it was just like a small portion of people who were shitting on Tim here, nah, it's a lot who are very angry that Tim didn't just let Kanye ramble for 2 hours through like, as his mind completely wanders without any form or structure to this interview whatsoever. All right. Kind of ridiculous. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.